Whether it's running across rooftops or sneaking up on enemies and stabbing them through the heart, Deathloop is sure to be chock full of surprises, and it's definitely one of the most ambitious games of 2021. Hey there friends, it's Kodiak here, and welcome back to Legacy Gaming and our ultimate preview of Arkane Studios' upcoming first-person murder mystery supernatural puzzle. You know what? You get the point. It's Deathloop. Boy oh boy am I excited about Deathloop, a game I'll admit I've had my eye on for quite some time. As a huge fan of the Dishonored series, I'm always curious to see what the team at Arkane Studios is cooking up, and this one is a doozy. In fact, I think the game is so unique, at least on the surface, that it's not really getting the attention it deserves from the mainstream audience, which is why we're putting together this ultimate preview video. What we're going to do is break down as much of the information as we can and put all of it in one place so that you can get caught up to speed. I'm not gonna lie, trying to wrap your head around what Deathloop actually is turns out to be quite the challenge, but that's because the developers are really pushing the boundaries of what video games can accomplish. As always, I want to start with a 30,000 foot view, talk about the game from a macro level, and then drill down on some of the systems and more intricate details that help connect the various aspects of the game together. You play as Colt the Captain Vaughn, who's trapped on a mysterious island called Blackreef. As the game's title suggests, you're stuck in a loop, reliving the same day over and over. Your job is to take out, i.e. kill, 8 targets, known as Visionaries. This is an eclectic group made up of scientists, artists, and whack jobs. Think Bond villains with a uniquely arcane twist. The only way to break the loop and figure out the mystery of the island is by killing each of the targets in one day. There is no timer, no clock, but each day is broken up into 4 distinct time periods, and by using a slew of weapons and abilities, you'll need to infiltrate, sabotage, and execute your way through each target until you finally break the loop. At this point, you may be saying to yourself, okay, that's not so bad, but there has to be more, and you'd be right. Deathloop may look like a first-person shooter, but at the heart of the game is an intricate puzzle. It's your job to examine your environment, eavesdrop, scavenge, and piece together every detail you can to align everything in the right orientation to get the job done. Each day stretches across 4 distinct time periods: morning, noon, afternoon, and night, as well as various locations. And while you're not timed during the game, you do have to work to align all of the parts so that you can complete your objective, killing the 8 Visionaries. Deathloop is the result of years of experimentation during the Dishonored period. The team realized that they wanted to create a game that set up one big idea, one place, one challenge, and one moment in time. That's what they're trying to accomplish with Deathloop, that one perfect run that culminates in you breaking the cycle and beating the loop. This isn't a simple feat, and whether you prefer stealth or breach and clear style gameplay, you'll have to observe your surroundings carefully. For example, a certain door in one particular region may only be unlocked during the morning. Lucky for you, you spent some time trailing a pair of enemies that just so happened to reveal that nugget of information. It's scenarios like these that make up one major part of the core gameplay, while the other part is just pure cathartic destruction. Now that's all well and good, and I think with that knowledge under our belts, we can move on to the more specific elements of the game. I mentioned the 8 Visionaries, those 8 targets you have to kill during the course of a day. The most lethal of the 8 is the one that really adds a new layer of depth to the game, Julianna Blake, whose only goal is to hunt you down and kill you. Throughout your adventures, Julianna will be tracking and attempting to murder you because that's her job, to protect the cycle. She's the only target of the 8 that's actively hunting you. The other 8 are a bit more static in nature, but still willing to pull the trigger and put a bullet between your eyes. The other interesting twist to Julianna is that she can be controlled by another player. That's right, another player can come into your game, take control of a master assassin, and hunt you down. At least that's the idea in theory. Multiplayer is the one aspect of the game that the Arkane team just isn't going to reveal ahead of launch. They want Deathloop to be a truly new experience for players, and even with their exclusive content across various media outlets, you're hard-pressed to find anything other than what the team wants to reveal. The Julianna angle is easily the most interesting in the game, and that cherry on top of the cake, that's already a bit questionable. No doubt delicious, but still questionable. For players curious, there is a way to turn off this feature and have an AI-controlled Julianna, but at this time there is no definitive answer as to whether playing offline entirely is an option. I know that's a game breaker for a lot of people, so I figured we'd get it out of the way now. Now that we know about Julianna, what about the other 7 Visionaries, the other 7 targets you need to kill? Well, like I said, they're spread across 4 different time parts and various regions on the island, and as we alluded to earlier, sometimes you need to kick the cycle to get things to line up. We've already seen how this plays out in one specific instance. One of the targets on your list is a scientist named Igor. Now you can blow through his guards and knock him off with a few well-placed shots, but if you do that, you won't be creating the right scenario to break the loop. Instead, you have to manipulate the situation so that Igor appears somewhere else, sometime else during the day. In this case, by stopping a science experiment in the morning, Igor drinks with Alexis, another visionary, at night, thus aligning 2 targets in one place. This is the puzzle elements at work, and it's the secret sauce that players will hopefully pick up on. It's almost like Arkane wanted to create this game that was a testament to speedrunners everywhere that can piece together clues and scenarios while still not completely shutting off the game to casual players. Because there's no time limit within each of the 4 day parts, you can take things as slow or as fast as you want, utilizing your guns and skills to explore and execute whatever plan you concoct in your head. Each of the Visionaries has a schedule, and that schedule fluctuates throughout the day, so once again, it's about gathering intel, tracking your targets, and piecing together the mysteries of the island. Up until recently, it wasn't entirely clear how much firepower Colt had at his disposal, and while we don't know everything, we can definitely help paint you a picture. As Colt sneaks or slashes his way across Blackreef, he can pick up a number of weapons, and in true Arkane fashion, these come in all shapes and sizes. You'll find your standard archetypes, but you'll also find a few surprises along the way. You can even hold multiple primary weapons, and those weapons can be augmented with trinkets. Trinkets play a big role in shaping the nuanced gun gameplay, nudging weapons towards a particular playstyle, enhancing their potency in one particular way. Think of them as passive buffs. Your guns can also jam mid-combat, and each gun is more susceptible to this feature than others, so pay attention when assigning a weapon. Over time, you can also outfit Colt with a number of abilities and perks. Many of these will be familiar to Dishonored players, like Shift, which is a simple short teleport, but other abilities like Nexus bind the fates of 2 enemies together. Long story short, 1 bullet, 2 dead bodies. You can have 2 of these abilities equipped at any one time, but to unlock them, you first have to kill the Visionary that possesses the corresponding slab. 1 kill unlocks the base level ability, while multiple kills on the same target upgrades that specific ability to be stronger and more potent. Other things like perks function like they do in most games, awarding the player certain passive buffs when equipped. You can have 4 active at any one time, and these range from things like moving faster when crouched to double jumping. At this point, you may be wondering, okay, what happens if I die? Do I lose everything? At first, yes, but through a system called Infusion, you can spend a special resource called Residium to lock in weapons and perks across loops. Residium is found all over Blackreef Island. You just have to be on the lookout for items glowing with a sort of chromatic vibrance. If you're starting to put the pieces together, good, because it definitely took me some time to get it all straight. But if you still need some framing to help you ground your understanding of progression, think of it like a roguelite. You're just experiencing it from the first person and at a AAA level. If you die, you start from the beginning, but because there are progression elements that carry over, you're getting incrementally stronger each run. Plus, you're learning about the island, things that might help you eventually break the loop. To round out our loadout, we have the aforementioned machete capable of stabbing enemies and lopping off their heads, a grenade that I don't think I've actually seen anyone use yet in the game, and a radio-like device capable of hacking and disrupting electronics. It's a toolkit designed for a master assassin, but with repetition and merciless killing in mind. I said it during the intro, and I'll say it again. Deathloop is one of the most ambitious games of 2021, and in a sea of titles that slap a new coat of paint on the same old genre, I think everyone should be keeping an eye on this game. If you really break it down, Deathloop is a first-person roguelite. That's just the truth, but by combining elements of stealth, FPS, platforming, and other systems, it's nearly impossible to genre-define this game. And that's not a bad thing. Deathloop isn't going to vibe with everyone, but for the rest of us that are curious or intrigued by the premise, the game certainly looks to be a new experience the likes of which we have never seen before. In terms of playtime or replayability long-term, well, I can't comment on that. No one can, because only the Arkane team knows the formula to a successful run, at least for now. What I can tell you is that Legacy Gaming will be releasing a worth-your-time review of the game after it releases on September 14th, so if you're keeping an eye on this title but aren't willing to pull the trigger just yet, give it a few weeks and check back in. We will have you covered. As always, thank you guys so much for checking out our Ultimate Preview series. This set of videos is so incredibly important to us as we continue to cover the biggest games launching each year. If you enjoyed this series and you're excited about Deathloop, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We also invite you to join us on Discord. We've got a great community of around 7,000 members, so check out the link below to join today. Finally, if you like everything we're doing here at Legacy Gaming and you want to help us out even more, you can now do so by becoming a member. For just a couple bucks, you're helping evolve the channel and take our community to that next level. Check out the join button below to learn more. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.